And also moments ago in Louisville, Kentucky Governor, Andy Beshear started a news conference with an update on the fatal UPS plane crash. So let's take a listen to that.
I want to start by acknowledging the impressive work of so many fire departments that took what was a blazing inferno created by a plane with 38,000 gallons of fuel, of aviation fuel, and were able to contain it. It could have been significantly worse and have in fact gotten the situation to where the shelter in place is now so much smaller than anyone would have predicted it would be at this time. Really incredible work by the fire departments. I want to start with the Okolona Fire Department, the main department responding. They've done an incredible job. The Louisville Fire Department, the Louisville Airport Fire Department, Fern Creek Fire Department, Pleasure Ridge Park Fire Department, Fairdale, Anchorage Middletown, Jeffersontown, Zoneton, Mount Washington, Nichols, Lebanon Junction, Southeast Bullitt, LaGrange, Simpsonville, Lexington Fire Department, Bardstown, and Shepherdsville Fire Department. In addition, extra foam to fight the fire came from the Lexington Airport, from CVG, and from Bardstown. In total, over 50 trucks responded. Again, a surge of resources to respond to a very significant explosion and fire. But what that does is it means that all of those available resources are pushed to the site. But through careful planning and through more efforts, we made sure we backfilled the departments that were at the scene. So we want to thank the following fire departments for backfilling to make sure that everyone else was protected during the surge of resources. We want to thank the Vine Grove Fire Department, West Point, Simpsonville, Shelby County. I want to thank other first responders that include the Kentucky National Guard, Kentucky Office of Homeland Security, Louisville EMA, the Airport Police Department, Louisville Metro Police Department, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, St. Matthews Police Department, Shively Police Department, Kentucky State Police, Louisville Metro EMS, the Metro Sewer District, Louisville Gas and Electric, Kentucky Emergency Management, Kentucky Emergency Management Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 1, Kentucky ERC-ERT, the Jefferson County Emergency Management, the Jefferson County Coroner, the National Weather Service, the FBI, and there are more. There have been over 200 first responders that were on the scene last night, and there is a significant amount of resources in the search and rescue, and ultimately what is probably by now the recovery effort that is occurring. I want to thank everybody who was working overnight when it was dangerous, when there was other flammable or explosive materials, but they were searching to try to find any and all survivors and to locate any bodies to try to give families the closure that they deserve. As of this time, we can confirm that there have been 9 fatalities, but I'm now fairly confident that that number will grow by at least 1. We hope it doesn't grow by too many more. I believe by this afternoon we'll have a pretty good grasp of both the number of fatalities and, if there are any, the number of missing persons that we're still looking for. Remember, there's a Victim Family Reunification Center at the Louisville Metro Police Training Academy, which remains open. That address is 2911 Taylor Boulevard. As of last night, there had been 16 different families there. I think the mayor's providing an update where that number may now have shrank. At least information I'm getting is those families may not line up with the hospital patients, which means we've got to continue to search that site, hope and pray for the best, but know there may be more loss of life that we're going to learn about today. 2 businesses were directly impacted: Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts. Thankfully, a local restaurant that is right there that we had great concern would be impacted and we would lose whoever was in it, was missed and now is helping the search and rescue. We're grateful for them. Another blessing is.
And we are listening to Kentucky Governor there, Andy Beshear, after yesterday's deadly UPS plane crash. I want to bring in CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes. She is live near the scene. Nicole, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us what the scene looks like as of right now?
Mugo, yeah, we may be the closest we've been so far to the site of that crash, that debris field just about a mile down the road behind me here. And what we've been watching throughout the last hour or so is there is still some smoke coming from that area. Whether or not that's something that's still burning from last night's horrifying crash. I mean, that massive explosion and the video of it still being shared by dozens on social media, as you can see. But there again, we know that there is work being done here to try to make sure that this area is safe and that people can get back to work. I will point out that the Louisville Airport has since reopened, and we're actually not standing far from the large UPS facility here on the airport property. We know they have suspended operations for the rest of the day here, really trying to work with those investigators to figure out what may have caused this crash. We do know that officers, or rather agents with the National Transportation Safety Board from Washington, D.C. have already arrived in Louisville, and they expect to actually brief us as well as everyone else on where their investigation stands later on this afternoon. Governor Andy Beshear says he'll also be in town later today touring and trying to get a better look at the destruction here following that horrifying, deadly crash, Mugo.
Yeah, Nicole, as you said there, obviously there's still a lot of questions and you're waiting for that briefing later today. But in the video of the plane crash, you can see the plane was already on fire as it was leaving. Do we know how all of that unfolded?
Well, there's a lot of questions still, of course. What would have caused this crash? We know that not only was that UPS flight heading from Louisville to Honolulu, and because of that, really that 9-hour journey, it had maybe more than 250,000 gallons of fuel on that plane. So there are, of course, that sort of paints a picture, right, as to maybe why we saw that crash, that plume of smoke and that fire burn for as long as it did here. So those are things that I think investigators are going to be looking for. Of course, there's also questions of what may have malfunctioned in that engine that would have caused this crash to again take place. A lot of people here have a lot of questions, and I'll update you here. The governor saying again at least 9 people killed, but he still does expect that number to grow.
Yeah, and I want to stay on that real quick, because as I was reading some of our reporting about this plane crash, there's some family members who say that their loved ones are still unaccounted for. Have we heard anything from those family members or some people who are maybe out there waiting to hear about where their loved ones may be?
Yeah, the governor actually said a moment ago that he's trying to get an update on if or how many people may still be missing. He knows that really that was the focus of last night, why we saw so much law enforcement and local police and firefighters here. They were trying to find a way to safely get around, of course, that area where the explosion happened and try to find survivors. We know at least 15 people were sent to several area hospitals here, many of them with the University of Louisville. Of those 15, there are still 2 in the ICU right now, but some information we got last night was several of those were actually being treated in their burn unit. So again, there are still a lot of things I think investigators as well as officials here still need to sort of get their details straight on, but definitely things that they're addressing and hoping to reveal later on today.
Okay, Nicole Valdes, thank you so much for your reporting.